This is very painful to read, actually. It's titled France Massacre of World War II African Riflemen Premeditated and Covered Up. Report says new findings reveal that the Tyrrell massacre death toll was far higher than reported, with up to 400 victims. And it goes, a massacre of Africa's World War II riflemen demanding pay for fighting for France in 1944 was premeditated, covered up, and its death toll vastly underestimated, according to a paper submitted to the Senegalese president and seen by the news agency AFP. According to French colonial authorities at the time, at least 35 infantrymen were killed during the massacre at Tirere camp near Senegalese capital, Dakar. When you read the story, in light of what you probably already knew about it, what was your take? Brother first.
Okay, well, I was happy that it looks like they're opening up an opportunity for more compensation for more victims. But nothing about it was surprising. That the figures were underreported.
Yeah.
They reported only maybe 35 dead, when in fact it seems like the true number is anywhere from 300 to 400. They even went into the archives and altered some of the information, which of course now makes you wonder how many more files in the colonial archives pertaining to all these colonized countries have been doctored, altered, especially when it involves cases of incidents such as this massacre. And it tells you how forward-thinking Usman Sembene was. Because this thing, there are many, many crimes of colonialism and massacres, but we talk about the ones that have been highlighted. Sembene is no longer with us, joined the ancestors, but he made that film, which has allowed this to have a very long shelf life. And in each case, it just keeps expanding. We keep finding out more about this massacre. And people that are not familiar, Usman Sembene was one of the most renowned, I would say, global filmmakers, telling the story from the perspective of the victim, right? And he just happened to be a Senegalese, right?
Yeah.
And Camp Tiaroye is one of his films. And I don't know if it's available online, but I think you can buy the DVD, you can buy the film. And I've seen it a few times. So I'm glad he did that. That was his documentation. And now they appointed this committee led by a historian. They went into the archives. They did more research. Obviously, they made material that was not accessible at the time Sembene did his film. Now they made it accessible because of their time has elapsed, and they're able to find that, in fact, the number was 10 times more than the figure that had always been referred to historically.
And
sorry, go ahead. You asked a question.
And could you tell the listeners the reason the massacre happened?
Okay, very good. Basically, Camp Tiaroye was where they concentrated the not only Senegalese soldiers who had fought on behalf of empire in World War II, but others from
West Africa,
the other French colonies in West Africa. And they had been captured during the fight against the Nazis. They were captured by the Germans, and then at some point they were released. And rather than shipping them directly all to their individual countries from where they came, West African countries, they were congregated in Camp Tiaroye in order to be demobilized and then repatriated to their individual countries. And once they got there, they were not being paid, number one. Number two, they were owed back pay. Number three, they realized how underpaid they had been relative to white French soldiers, when in fact, they were the ones who had sent in disproportionate numbers to the front lines in these wars against Hitler. So of course, at some point, they said enough is enough, and they started protesting. And what is interesting is that, and I hadn't thought of it before, although Sembene does show that scene, the fact that they were disarmed. And the point, they were disarmed, meaning this was a premeditated action. They knew there was dissent. They knew they owed money. So they made the plan that should these guys protest, we're going to open fire with live rounds. And that's exactly what happened. And it turns out it did not happen against only 35 victims, but more like 400.